Welcome into the Warchant.com Top 40. Here we go, the top 5. This is it, and so we thought we should all get the band back together again. Everybody in the shot this time around. Universal, it was Cam Akers, #1. I know I'm not supposed to start with that, but everybody kind of agreed that you have yourself a bona fide superstar there. Cam Akers, what kind of numbers are you expecting from him?
And it wasn't close. I mean, there's a big gap between 1 and 2 on this list, I'd have to say, by far. That's the thing. I mean, rushing for over 1,000 yards in that pathetic offense last year, and now you got a guy, hopefully a better offense. He's going to run more plays, have a chance to break more runs. He's got another year now to be more experienced. If Willie Taggart wanted, I think he could get 2,000 yards. I don't know if he'll get that many carries because he'll mix it up a little bit. I think 1,500 is very realistic.
Ira, as we look at this original top 40, top 5, your thoughts on the two quarterbacks, because you're the one who, by the way, had James Blackman at 16, which really skewed the composite here and put him down at 5 for our rankings. I'm not ripping you. Go ahead.
I don't love that you're putting me on the spot, but I do like that you bypassed Corey to get to me, which was nice. And I think everybody else agrees with me on that. But yeah, I mean, I felt like you had to make a choice, and I know you guys kind of lumped them together because it's hard to pick between a 1A and a 1B. But I just felt like you need to go ahead and make a choice, and that's what I did. So I went on a limb and went ahead. I think Deondre Francois is going to win the starting job. He's gotten through the most of this summer without any kind of issues as of right now. He's been a model citizen. Willie Taggart has said that Deondre's done everything he wants him to do. He's been a better leader. He's getting healthier. And I think at the end of the day, what he does with his legs, the combination of his legs and throwing, and I think he's a better passer than he showed in 2016. So I think he's going to be the guy that wins the job. And with that being the case, I put James Blackman a little bit lower.
Do you think James Blackman has a chance to win the job, Corey?
I do, man.
You need to use this mic.
Oh, no, I don't want to use that mic.
Okay.
I do think he has a chance to win the job, but what's weird about Ira putting Blackman at 16 is, and this isn't a shot, Ira, don't take it as such.
Oh, here we
but
go.
if you think Francois is going to be the starter, then why do you have the backup quarterback as the 16th most important?
Hedging my bets.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I feel you.
Didn't want to be outrageous.
Right, gotcha.
People get hurt.
And yeah, man, I don't remember a season going into a season where it was legitimately so up in the air who the quarterback was going to be. I think it really.
You didn't buy the Coker was right there with.
Exactly right. And Smag and Golson, we all knew that Golson was going to end up getting that job. He wouldn't have come here to sit behind Sean McGuire. So, although he ended up sitting behind Sean McGuire at the end of that year. So this is a really weird ask to try to rank these two guys because one of them is going to be the starter. It is going to be really important. The other guy might not play much. And we'll see in August, but I think that's why they're both ranked so high, even though only one of them can take snaps. Because we haven't really had a quarterback controversy like this at Florida State since, I don't know, Ponder-Weatherford? The great Ponder-Weatherford duel of 2008?
As we all recall.
Yeah, and Debo was in there too.
Do you agree, Gene, that if all things are equal, if these two guys play to a standstill once practice starts, that Deondre Francois will be the quarterback?
All things being equal,
they play equal to one another in the competition when we start practice.
I don't know if I agree with that because when you talk to Willie Taggart right now and you bring up James Blackman, his eyes light up. When you bring up Deondre Francois, now. To the point I was making, I do think Francois has made progress. Even recently I spoke to somebody over there and they said he's really doing all the right things right now. If he can completely erase that and win the team over, because I think right now the team likes Blackman. There's still a little kind of a wait and see on Francois. If they can do that, then I would agree with you. But I think there's the leadership and there's the off the field stuff he still needs to overcome before I think he gets that job.
Can I retort real quick? The one thing I agree with Gene about that, the one thing I would say though about players and who they like, it changes based on who produces. And once they get into the games, and once they get into practice and scrimmage situations in the fall, if one guy's leading you to touchdowns and one guy's not, they're going to like the guy leading you to touchdowns. So I think that can be fluid.
It was a very easy thing for all of us to have Demarcus Christmas in this top 5. He's a rock, he's a leader, he's experienced, he's talented, and he should be consistently really, really good for this team. Brian Burns is an interesting choice here to be as high as he is. Of course, he was very verbose in talking about the kind of numbers he thought he'd put up a year ago. That simply just did not happen. Your thoughts on Brian Burns, Corey?
Yeah, man, I think, again, that when we talk about most important, this guy is a guy that could really change the defense. Against Clemson, he kind of took over the game at times. He kept them in the game, and that's the kind of guy you see. That's the impact he can have. But for large portions of last year, he just flat out disappeared. He wasn't an impact player at all, but he can be. And, you know, I just think his junior year, his money year, I think he has a chance to rack up double-digit sacks, continually get pressure on quarterbacks, and as we all know, that's what makes a good defense, is getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands fast, putting pressure on him, and I think this guy could be a real difference maker. Or he could disappear like he did last year. But I don't
In which
foresee
case we'd
that.
all look silly since we have him in the
all
top
had him up
5.
there,
Yeah.
so we all think that he's going to be a really important part of this defense.
Gene, I'll ask you one final thing as we wrap up this top 5. We're all of us influenced by Willie Taggart's decision, and this may end up being dated, but I still think it plays, to have Cam Akers and Brian Burns represent the team at the ACC meetings?
Well, not with Akers. If he wasn't invited, he'd still be number 1. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. But yeah, Burns a little bit for me because, like you said, he was the classic sophomore slump. He had 4.5 sacks last year. Coming off, what do you have, 9.5, led all freshmen the year before. So you really expected a lot more of him. For a guy that kind of underproduced last year to be number 2 overall on the list, seems a little bit of a stretch. The fact that Willie Taggart gave him that vote of confidence, I'm going to send my 2 best players. He's on there, so for us, that's why he belongs at number 2. We got number 1 and 2 going to the ACC media, or the number 1 and 2 on our list.
That's it. That's all for the top 40. We hope you've enjoyed it. Obviously, all of these guys have to play very well if Florida State's going to have a better year than many of the experts think. It's always a pleasure. We'll talk to you the next time we get together for the Warchant.com report.